Many families are heading out on their summer vacations are in need of some last-minute help.
And that's where Youthire.com comes in. Today we have Tom Cerna, the founder of Youthire, and he'll explain this innovative new idea that will help communities everywhere. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me stop by.
So tell us, explain a little bit about Youthire. It's really an innovative idea. So,
Well, the concept came about about summer ago, and I needed somebody to water my plants when I was going away, and we didn't have somebody to do that. So the idea came to me that this might be a good idea for a website, and just based on that idea, I, had somebody create the website. So we launched in January of 2014, and currently I live in Glen Head, Long Island, which is about 20 miles from here. But I grew up in Larchmont, and I attended Mamaroneck High School. And actually the idea also came to me because when I was at the high school, they have the YES office, where
Youth Employment Service.
Youth Employment Service. And I had done a lot of odd jobs through the YES office. So I just thought with the technology that's available today that this might be a good idea to have an online website where you could connect homeowners with local area young adults, where the homeowner could post an odd job or a simple task, and you'd have kids in the area register with the site, and then they could view those jobs posted to the site and apply for them. And if they're assigned the job, then they perform the job.
So in terms of young adults, like what age bracket of kids or young adults can qualify, really?
Right. It's 16 to 26 years old.
Okay.
And yeah, we've really wanted to keep it in that age range. Students, high school students, college students, and college students just recently graduating from college. It's a tough economy for that age group. You hear it a lot. Young adults aren't able to find full-time work. So, this might be something that helps them out, just to make some money in their spare time. For high school students, they can fit it into their hectic schedules. For college students, something to help them out. If I had this in college, I would have been all over it. Because you always need a little extra money.
What kind of jobs do you, now you're just starting this out, so not a lot of jobs have been posted yet, but what are the more popular jobs that you foresee?
Sure. Well, I've been mostly seeing gardening, garden maintenance, lawn work. We've been seeing more heavy lifting, such as moving furniture, helping out in a move. So it's mostly been that type of job, but we also want to attract, like mothers who could, maybe take on a child or a mother's helper, babysitting. So we're really trying to get the word across also to mothers that this could be good, for helping out with taking care of their kids or that sort of thing.
And you check out the people who post the jobs in some way?
Like
yes.
a background, sort of?
Yes. Well, for when a young adult registers with the site, he has to create what's called a profile page. So that's a snapshot of who he is or she is, and explains background about them. They can provide a personal narrative, and they can talk about maybe some achievements that they've earned during high school or college. So that gives a good little snapshot. But part of since we launched the site, we've had comments from users of the site, specifically homeowners, saying who are these kids that we're hiring here? How do we really know that these are good people? So we've implemented background checks online. So that supplements the profile page. And again, going back to what I said in the beginning, is that we've tried to keep this community-based.
Right.
So when somebody posts a job, you can type in the zip code where you live, and you'll see the jobs within 5 miles of that zip code. So we want to keep that community-based concept with the site, so that you're hiring somebody that lives within your community.
And to sign up online, it's free?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's free. So
Yes.
make sure everybody signs up because it's free.
Yeah.
And a question for you also is, how does the payment process work, like from homeowner to young adult or?
Sure. The way it works is the homeowner, before they post their first job, has to provide credit card information. And that information is stored on the site. So when the job is completed, they can go into their account and then just choose the make a payment button. And then that'll bring up, the job that was just completed. And then the credit card information that's stored will be used to make that payment. So there's no cash. There's, cash is not transferred, or cash isn't used for payment of a job.
Okay.
So then the way it would work is that that payment comes to a bank account under my company's name, and then from there I would move the money to, the kid that just finished the job. They have to have an account created with something called popmoney.com, which connects my bank account with their bank account. So then I can transfer the money from my bank account to their bank account. And I also retain a 15% fee. So if the homeowner posts a job, for $15 an hour, it'll show on the job board at $12.75 an hour. So that's minus the 15% fee. And that's how I'm able to keep the site up and running, and operational costs and that sort of thing. So going back to what I was saying before, the technology that's available today, without that, I wouldn't be able to have this site.
How would you think, I'm thinking as a parent, especially for the younger kids who sign up, from somebody who wants to hire them for less than honorable purposes, from being taken advantage of, let's say?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Well, you talked about the homeowner wanting to know who's this kid I'm hiring.
Correct.
Well, if I was the parent of a younger kid who's going to work, do you do any checks on the people who are doing the hiring?
Absolutely. It's also a requirement for the homeowner that they have to undergo a background check.
Okay.
So just to be clear, it's, as I said, the technology that's available today, the core infrastructure, would be the social media. You have geographic software today, plus the mobile devices. So with those three devices or tools, this site, you can have a site such as this. So using social media, you can, through Facebook or, connecting with the community, you can do a background on your own. In fact, there's some sites today, such as for babysitting, that was a major concern for them. Who's that person that I'm going to be hiring to take care of my child? And that was an obstacle or a hurdle that they had to overcome. And that was one of the ways that they approached it, was using social media, such as Facebook. So these are the things that are really helpful in terms of these concerns that people have.
I could think of one thing I'd like to hire a young person for, is to teach me some more about computers, and software that I don't know.
It's funny you say that, because the person now who's my website developer, he's 18 years old, and he's a genius. I mean, it's just amazing. If you're putting together a website today, there's a lot of kids in high school that are just amazing with the computers.
Do you give anybody guidance about how much they should offer to pay?
No.
Is there a going rate for certain kinds of jobs?
It's a good question, because only history will be the guide. So going forward, if somebody were asked that question, I could say, okay, historically, we've seen that the average for pulling weeds, might be $12 an hour.
Right.
Whereas something that's, involves, heavy lifting, that might be 20 to 25. That's kind of what I'm seeing now.
Yeah.
The gardening-related jobs are more in the $12 to $15 range, and then the moving furniture is more in $20 to $25 range. But I think over time, I'll have a better idea of what people. It's kind of like the site is set up that it's market forces at work when you think about it. So when you post your job, if it's considered to be too low a price, you won't have kids apply for it.
Yeah.
So what you can do then in that case is you can change, the pay. And I've seen that where some people have tried to, put in a low price.
Right.
They don't get any responses. They increase the price, and then they get responses to their job.
Do you have a dispute handling mechanism?
We do. The way it works, when the kid has finished his job, he has to mark the job as completed. So now the system knows that he's marked the job as completed. The homeowner, the job provider, receives an email that this person just marked your job as being completed. You should go into the system and make payment.
Right.
So at that point, if they dispute that, they can dispute that the job was not completed. I'll receive an email, and then we can try and work it out and see, exactly the details of what the situation involves. I haven't had any of those yet, thank God. So I'm hoping we don't get too many of those.
So you're kind of in beta form right now, in where you're at right now in Long Island.
Yes.
And you're trying to bring it to this area, right?
Exactly. I didn't want to have like a mass launch of this website in the event that I'd run into some issues. So I basically spent the last 18 months, fine-tuning this and tweaking it, and making sure that any bugs or adding, features like the background check, and we also now have liability insurance, and I can talk about that later. And now I think I've gotten to the point where I've also developed a track record where we have, we've gotten quite a few positive testimonials from people who've used the site. So now
That's a good
I
thing.
think it's at the point now where I can,
You can
take
start,
it
yeah.
outside my immediate
Yeah.
area.
So the website is?
Youthire.com.
Is there a phone number, or we just go just the website?
Well, the email address to contact me would be support@youthire.com.
Okay.
What I need to remind you, it's 1H.
1H.
Yes, 1H.
Right, so it's youthire.com.
Okay. And you want to quickly mention liability, because we're running out of time here.
Okay. Yes, we now have liability insurance that would cover up to $1 million in accidental claims. Part of the registration process for the homeowner is they have to sign off agreeing that they have homeowners insurance for themselves.
Right.
So it's part of the agreement to sign up. But as an additional added layer, we just took on liability insurance, so we have that in place as well.
That's vital to do in this day and age with
It is.
legalistic
Definitely.
mentality sometimes, and yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for coming by,
Thank
and hope you'll stop by again and give us an update.
All right.
Okay?
Well, I hope I'm around to be able to do that.
I hope so again. And the youth, it's Youthire.com.
Youthire with 1H. Important.
Okay. And stay tuned. We'll be right back with our trivia answer and more community stories.